Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman in the studios. As you can see, our logo right behind me here. I am, however, the only one in the studio. We are going to run down to Detroit right now and see a longstanding, wonderful friend, the COO of the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce, Tammy Carnrike. Tammy, even in these circumstances, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Chris, and it's really wonderful to see you. Glad that we have this time to chat together.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what's happened the last few, but it's funny off air. We were just talking about we don't know that we've worked harder at any points in our career than we are right now.
Yeah.
And you guys have been working hard, getting the feels through surveys back from the business community.
Right. Since COVID-19 began, we've tried to stay very much in touch with our business community. We certainly put out a lot of resources and support from day one, and we continue to do that. But, we not only from formal surveys, we actually had our staff pivot to call every one of our members and get feedback on what's happening and what concerns they have so that we could actually do the best job at putting resources on our website. Then we have surveyed several different times about those issues that are impacting our business community. Our most recent one right now is to find out how the business community plans to be prepared for those employees whose children may not go back to school and will have to stay at home. And what does that mean for their workforce? Are they going to remain flexible? Are they going to work with different shifts? So that survey is actually up on our website right now. Everything we've done is on DetroitChamber.com/COVID-19. We've also done teletown halls. I think you've probably heard a lot of those. And so that gives us more information from businesses on what's needed. Businesses call us all the time. Our membership retention team is so busy. They call with questions on where they can find resources. Obviously, funding is a big issue right now. PPE resources, we've really stepped up and helped with distribution of PPE and putting our businesses in touch with companies that can do that. So we're always in touch with folks, trying to stay on top of the pulse of our business community. What will be interesting is one thing we haven't really done, and we're going to start doing, is giving examples of small businesses doing good during this time. They're stepping up to make a difference. And that's a new series that we're going to be starting to run next week. But I think you also know we're doing something with the U.S. Chamber next week, and it's a national small business summit. And so we actually put forward some Michigan businesses who were able to pivot during COVID, but also do a startup to show that there is opportunities out there. It isn't all that people just pivoted for PPE purposes. There were actually startups that occurred. So we learned from finding those kinds of companies too and talking with them. So we've been trying to stay as close as we can on the pulse of this business community.
It's kind of interesting. I've always said there's no bad time to start a good business. And when you look at corporate history, sometimes our grandest businesses started in really bleak times.
Right. Well, you want to take advantage of a crisis in the right way, right? They do say take advantage during a crisis. But, the other thing we should talk about, Chris, because it's near and dear to both you and I, is the Mackinac policy conversations that are going to be taking place. We had to cancel our conference. It was so sad.
Heartbreaking.
This is just such a critical time for discussions. We can't not have them. So we're actually going to kick off sessions every week, starting August 18th till after the national election. Our pillars changed, but they're going to be very relevant to what's happening right now. So we'll be focusing on Michigan, how we bounce back from recover from what's happened with COVID-19. We're going to focus on the national election. And then we're going to focus on another very important issue, racial justice and economic equity. So all relevant issues. So we're going to be able to show more information about what businesses are doing, how they're being responsible as it relates to COVID-19 comeback, as it relates to racial justice and economic equity. And so, Mackinac is going to be here just in a different way, and it'll
Yeah.
give us an opportunity to hear more from our business community.
You know, if I have two regrets in life, it was not buying Amazon stock and not buying Zoom stock. It's amazing how efficient we're getting at these things. I mean, the personal contact is missing, but just the fact that you can get things done
Right.
is pretty important. Hey, very quickly, Mish Auto, you did something very important with them.
We did. Mish Auto and Dykema and The Right Place all cooperated to do an automotive outlook survey. And that was primarily to get a good pulse on, that's our one of our key economic industries. We've got to stay on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so they did do a study to try and understand the challenges that the automotive industry was facing, and what their outlook was for the economy. There's a negative outlook, obviously, as it relates to the U.S. economy. But they do believe that U.S. light vehicle production will strengthen in 2021, which is a good sign, obviously. About 50% of them access the Paycheck Protection Program, which probably helped keep a lot of these companies going forward, especially the supply community. And they were 84%, which is an interesting statistic, of the automotive industry was required to suspend operations because of COVID-19 for a period of time, which was interesting. But, in general, the respondents believe company revenues obviously will decline further, and that they expect the declines to be between 1 and 20%. So that's big. That's a big variable there.
Wow, that certainly is. And that's an important industry, as you've said. Yeah. Tammy Carnrike, COO of I almost promoted you there. How about that? COO of the Detroit Regional. Not that you don't deserve it.
Well, I got a buddy, Sandy, who likes that title.
I know. And give him my best, by the way.
I will.
COO of the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. Tammy, always good to see you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Good to see you too, Chris. Have a great day.
You too. And
Bye.
We'll be right back with more on the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.